All right, today we are diving into one of the wildest stories to come out of the VR game Infinitum. We're talking about the legendary Session 11. It's got a high-speed train heist, a huge explosion, and, well, a super awkward run-in at a bar. And the craziest part? This whole insane adventure kicked off with just one tiny little tip.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine you're part of this team of heroes. You've just pulled off a crazy escape, you're exhausted, and you finally find a dusty old saloon in the game's Wild West server. You slide into a chair, ready for a break, and then bam! The doors fly open. In storms this guy, who looks exactly like Hitler, and he is screaming at the top of his lungs, "My train has been robbed!"
So, you're probably asking the same thing they were. How in the world did we get here? I mean, a Goliath paladin, an orc wizard, a whole crew of classic fantasy heroes, sitting in a bar full of Nazis? Yeah, it's a lot. To figure this out, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning, back to the secret that started it all. You see, this whole wild ride started because the team was on the hunt for something incredibly powerful, an item that pretty much every single player in Infinitum would kill to get their hands on.
So, in Infinitum, there are these things called unique mechanical upgrades. They're legendary, one-of-a-kind items. Only 3 exist. Now, 2 have already been found. One is basically an instant kill weapon, and the other is an item that makes it so you literally never miss a shot. But the third one, nobody knows where it is or even exactly what it does, though the rumor is it's some kind of insane armor upgrade. Finding it would be, well, a total game changer.
And here's the best part. The team didn't find this lead in some ancient tomb or get it from a wise old sage. Nope. They got it because they spent a whole day helping out at an orphanage. Seriously, they were cooking, cleaning, just hanging out with the kids in the medieval server. And as a thank you, this little kid pulls the team's wizard, Captain Dash 2, aside and just whispers this huge secret to her. Their good deed literally put them on the path to one of the most powerful items in the game.
Okay, so they've got the tip. They know the upgrade is somewhere in the Western server. They head to the main hub to jump through the portal. And this, my friends, is where things start to get weird fast.
They're literally just about to step into the portal when this girl comes up and asks if she can join their group. Now, in an MMO, that happens all the time, right? But something just feels off. The whole team gets this feeling in their gut, like a little alarm bell is going off.
So Valha, the Goliath paladin who leads the group, he just knows something's wrong. Then you've got Druendar, their ranger, who uses his insight skill and basically confirms it. He's like, yeah, she is not telling the truth. They start asking her questions, why do you want to join us? And she's super evasive. Her story is full of holes. So they just politely say, no thanks, and turn away.
But this team is smart. They don't just leave it at that. As they're walking toward the portal, Captain Dash 2, the wizard, gets this little idea. Super quietly, she casts See Invisibility. And what do you know? There she is, the same girl, totally invisible, standing right next to them, clearly trying to follow them. The second their eyes meet, she knows the jig is up. She freaks out and just runs for it. So now they know for sure. Someone knows they're after the upgrade. But hey, what are you going to do? They just shrug and jump through the portal anyway.
So they pop out on the other side, and they're not in a town. They're in the caboose of a moving train. Before they can even figure out what's going on, this cowboy NPC jumps out from behind a crate, says howdy, and instantly gives them a quest. He's like, this train? It's full of Nazis. They've got blueprints for a super weapon. Your job is to find them and burn them. Just like that, they're thrown right into the fire.
So they start moving up the train, take out a couple guards, and guess who Captain Dash 1 spots again? Yep, the invisible spy, sneaking right behind them. They act fast. They corner her, shove her back into that caboose, and then unhitch the whole car from the rest of the train. Perfect, right? They've got her trapped in a train car that is filled to the brim with barrels of gunpowder.
Now, what's the logical thing to do when you have a spy trapped in a room packed with explosives? Well, if you're Captain Dash 2, you don't bother with questions. You just solve the problem. She raises her hand, and without a second thought, she shoots a firebolt right into a barrel of gunpowder. I mean, that is just pure Captain Dash 2. So direct, so decisive, and so chaotic. And the result is, well, exactly what you'd expect. Kaboom! A giant fireball just erupts behind them, the caboose is gone, the spy is gone, and any hope they had of being sneaky, oh yeah, that is definitely gone. Every single guard on that train now knows they are here.
And really, this moment perfectly sums up this team's whole approach. If Plan A for stealth doesn't work, Plan B is cause as much chaos as humanly possible.
So, with their cover completely blown, Valha just goes for it. He uses his paladin powers, grows to a giant size, climbs onto the roof of the train, and starts fighting his way forward from up there. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew's just brawling their way through the train cars below. It's awesome.
Okay, so after this epic running battle, they actually do it. They find the blueprints, they burn them, quest complete. The cowboy NPC pops back up and tells them their escape route. There's a bridge coming up over a lake. Just jump. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, with this team, nothing is ever simple.
So Valha, the giant paladin, is a little worried his heavy armor is just going to sink him. So he gets this brilliant idea. I'll use my shield as a sled and slide down the hill next to the bridge. It's a miserable failure. He just tumbles end over end and his shield goes flying. It's hilarious. But then Barkin, the barbarian, sees this and decides to try the exact same thing, and he absolutely nails it. He shield surfs down the hill like a pro and even swoops by to pick up Valha's shield on the way down. Just incredible.
Meanwhile, everyone else is just jumping into the lake. Durinder, of course, has to be a show-off and does this fancy double backflip. Captain Dash 2, ever the elegant wizard, just magically floats down. Arya and Antonella, the rogue and the other barbarian, they just do good old-fashioned cannonballs. And then there's Zato, the other paladin. He also does a cannonball, but he completely forgets he's basically wearing a suit of metal. He hits the water and sinks like a stone. They literally have to throw a rope down to rescue him from the bottom of the lake.
So, let's just recap. We've had a massive explosion, a fight on top of a speeding train, a failed attempt at shield sledding, and a near-drowning experience for one of their paladins. The team is exhausted, they're soaking wet, but they pull themselves onto the shore and start walking towards that town the cowboy mentioned. And this, folks, is where we came in.
They get Zato out of the water, and they just start walking east. The sun's going down. They finally see a little dusty town on the horizon. There's only one place with any lights on, a bar. And at this point, all they want in the entire world is to sit down, have a drink, and just breathe for a minute.
So they walk in, find a table, and for one glorious second, it feels like they can finally relax. And then, just like we said at the start, the doors burst open. In comes that furious NPC who looks exactly like Hitler, and he's just screaming his head off about his train being robbed and blown to pieces.
And that's when it hits them. They look around the bar for the first time and realize that every single person in there, the bartender, the guys playing cards, everyone, is a Nazi NPC. They didn't just walk into a random bar. They walked straight into the enemy's hideout. And the big boss just walked in, absolutely furious about the thing they just did.
And that's where the session ended. Can you believe it? The team is completely surrounded. The bad guys don't know it was them. At least, not yet. So what do? Do you try to fight your way out of a bar full of enemies you probably can't beat? Do you try to slip out the back? Or do you sit there, order a drink, and try to bluff your way out of the whole mess? That is the ultimate cliffhanger.